Hello, and welcome to LMU Roundtable Now. It's a show where we talk about issues on campus and the people who are the most transfigured in these issues, the LMU student body. I'm Brandon McNeil. I'm a third-year sociology major, and tonight I'm joined by a panel of only one expert. As you can see, it's just me and JT tonight, and it's important that it be just the two of us because we're dealing with a very sensitive topic. All right, so let's get into it. Does God exist?
Well, I think even though that question is pretty small, it's really big in the scope of answering it in its totality. Being that we are at a religious school, probably the administration would want us to say yes. But I think people should not walk blindly into issues that are really determine your entire life and should really sit down and think about saying yes just because the authorities say so.
Some people just listen blindly to, what they thought was God, and then that's what's ended us up in so many wars.
You see a lot of news stories in Newsweek where people see Jesus in toast and in grilled cheese. Well, I think that phenomenon happens outside of just the visual sense, and it also probably comes in through the auditory senses as well, where you could be sleeping or praying just before you go to bed, and there's a car horn in the distance, and it sounds like, yes, my son, or maybe it really is God.
A lot of people think that they've, maybe seen aliens or even been abducted into their spaceships, and we, will just write off a lot of those people as, like weirdos and yahoos.
But I imagine there are probably people out there who are thinking, hey, did he just say that people like me who have a strong faith are like those crazy people in Area 51? And that's not necessarily true. It's just a metaphor.
I wasn't meaning to say that the people who believe in aliens are actually yahoos, because I think that there might be some credence to that as well. I think that the people who should really be targeted are the people who call those people yahoos, and who's to say that they aren't yahoos? As the Bible says, let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Nobody should be casting any stones, and especially with convincing media like the movie Independence Day, where they blow the White House. And I know that was a miniature but it really frightened me and made me think that, hey, if this thing is real, I better pay attention.
Well, in Independence Day, there were giant spaceships above all of the major cities that cast big shadows on everyone, and it's pretty difficult to ignore that. But religion is kind of a quiet matter, and people usually go about it in kind of a quiet way.
Well, you say quiet, but I recently took a trip, and I saw a lot of people on the street who were yelling, "You're gonna die for what you're doing. You better get down and thank the Lord, and otherwise you're going to hell."
As I already mentioned the phrase, let he who is without sin cast the first stone, but somebody telling you that you're going to hell, that's, I think, a pretty big stone thrown right in your face.
That's true. And I also noticed about this man that not only was he throwing large stones at me, but that he was metaphorical stones, but he was also fairly dirty, and he was standing on a corner that was pretty shady. I didn't know whether he was trying to get money for a crack rock or maybe some lady companions that night, which is part of the reason you have to watch out for religious fanatics. There's not just one religion, as we all know. There are many different types, and how do we know which is the right one? Maybe Buddha is the real God, or maybe Muhammad. Probably not that one, but maybe Jesus. Is Jesus God, or is Jesus a son? It's really confusing sometimes.
In kind of the same way, God can take a lot of different forms, and sometimes you might think that it's Buddha, but in fact it's the Christian God.
I'm starting to believe that maybe all of those paintings by Michelangelo and those the people the turtles were named after are not necessarily accurate. In movies, God is often an old black man, and I tend to think that if you are worried that and not sure whether God exists or not, and you stumble across an old black janitor, or maybe a black bum, you better listen to what he's saying, because he could be God.
There's been so many different interpretations of what God looks like. You even have, little kids at Sunday school who might be, giving God, like wheels, like thinking that he's a machine.
With the Transformer movie coming out, this is very possible. He could be a Transformer, God, human, animal car.
Only instead of turning into a truck, he turns into water and wine. A truck can only have one shape, but water is a liquid, and it can take the shape of whatever substance it's in, if it's in a goblet or even in an ocean.
Or it could freeze and make popsicles.
That sounds like it would be a cool treat on a hot summer day.
Maybe there's an old black man out there selling popsicles and wafers. And if that's the case, it's probably God.
All right. Well, to explore this issue further, we sent our very own man on the street out on the street for a very special episode of Man on the Street. So take it away, JT.
Hey guys, John Thomas Landon here. And this week we're trying to figure out whether God exists or not. And well, we're in a really holy place. So to contrast this holy place, I had to go to the most ungodly place in America. So I'm about to pack my bags and take a trip to Las Vegas, Nevada. How long have you been here?
How long have I been in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Well, I've been here since like Wednesday. Video poker is a scam, and it will take all your money because a video poker ain't a real deal. So stay away from video poker if you come to Vegas. But now let me tell you a little something back to the students. This is where we're going, right, students?
Students.
And what grade level?
It is college in California.
In college in California. All right, college in California. I'm going to school you a little bit. I come from Michigan. My name's Justin. All these casinos, everything you see here in Las Vegas is all fake. None of it is real.
Like they're not real in the sense that they aren't made of real brick and mortar, or not real in the sense that it's not really New York?
Not real in the sense that this city that we live in right now is not governed by all the rules that governs the rest of the United States. The day you go and get your own independent cab company and come here and run something simple as that, just a simple cab, just a simple $3.50 fare down the street, is the day you come for me.
You can think of.
The city is sick. The city makes me want to vomit on myself, so that's why I'm drinking on the street, or I do whatever I want. I mean, if I really feel the need to stab somebody in the throat who's like aggravating me, I'm going to do it, because none of the other government applicable lies apply here. So anything I want to do, I can do. It's Vegas. Does anybody remember who Gary Condit is?
That's what I'm talking about.
Las Vegas.
Come on,
Viva
man.
Las
Let's
Vegas.
well up right here. Come on. Let's get it on. Go and get it on right now.
Right.
Why else would any city let some stupid ass drink on the street? I hate you!
Let me say this. Is there any rockets hitting us right now? Then we cool.
These don't look very PG. I don't know what this is. I have to look at it further later.
Really disappointed.
$230. How about that? 275 pounds. A year and 2 months.
Really big cats. Glad I'm not in there. They would probably eat me.
Good to be the queen too, the king and the queen.
Is he really looking at me? And can he really do magic? And if he does know me personally, then maybe he can make all my money reappear, because I'm really broke right now. Oh. I guess they just, if you look thirsty, they give you some Hello? Hello? Hey, no, it's JT. Bridget? Hello? Bridget? Hey, Bridget, it's JT. I'm in Las Vegas. Yeah. Are you at a party? I can't hear you. I can't hear you, bro. Can you speak up? I'm just thinking about you. I miss you. Well, I haven't seen you in a little bit. You didn't call. Let me call. Well, I know. Hello? Bridget? Hello? Hey, Bridget, it's JT. Must have got cut off. So I'm in Las Vegas. I was thinking about you. And I think we should go hang out sometime on another date. So give me a call back. I miss you. Bye. JT. Bye. I love you.
All right. Well, that was pretty informative.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I think that your segment this week brings up an important question and something that makes a lot of people doubt the existence of God altogether, which is, why do bad things happen to good people?
Well, I spent a lot of time wondering about that question, and I only have a couple of theories. Maybe bad things happen to good people to make them tougher so that they can tolerate more in the world, because there's a lot of pain and suffering out there. But I saw a T-shirt over there. You've heard the saying that what happens over there in Vegas remains there in Las Vegas. So
it'd be nice if we could take all of the negative elements of the world and just push them to one place like Las Vegas, and then it can just be just a big beacon of sin.
Well, that actually just gives me an idea right now. Did you ever see the movie or cartoon Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
What if there was like a Ghostbusters for bad people? Maybe the LAPD or other police stations, and they just went around and they sucked them all up in like that big tank.
But then you would have to have a system to determine what's good and what's bad. I mean, some people consider something that would be bad to be big tanks full of toxic waste that could potentially hurt people or mutate people, and there's no way that you could suck up the entire tank into your sucking machine. It would either be too big, or if you took all of the toxic waste out of the tank, it might damage the sucking machine.
What if you took all of that really nasty, hard, dry bread at the end of the day at the bakery when they don't sell it, and you just soak it right up, and then you just have big kind of soggy bricks of evil? You wouldn't have to suck it up then. You could just truck it away.
There's so many bad things in the world, and evil will never be wiped out. Wherever we're keeping all of the evil might overflow.
Well, the thing is, I don't think that we're ever going to want to go back and retrieve that evil. It's, I think, pretty unanimous that we could just say, we don't want this anymore. So what we could do is put it on a rocket ship and send it off to the sun somewhere, unless like evil cancels out, sunlight, which it could. and in that case, send it to the dark side of the moon.
Physically on the moon or just orbiting around it?
Either, unless we ever plan to colonize the moon, in which case we might need that space for satellites or maybe mining operations or villas. So then maybe when we're there, we would build another rocket and shoot it farther.
But would it then end up on another planet? And what if we tried to occupy that planet later?
Maybe it would accumulate so much over time that it would be its own planet. And it would just be evil world. We would never have to go there.
Well, you or I wouldn't ever have to or want to go there, but what if an evil group of renegades got a hold of a spaceship and they went to evil world, and then they also took some weapons with them and they just stockpiled and procreated until, you know, in maybe just a few decades they have an entire evil army and they're just ready to, they could even use chunks of the planet and just fire evil directly back at us.
We would have to get a planet that was pure light, like the sun. We would have to make steel thick enough to live on the sun. And when they sent evil back our way, we would just ball up some light and throw it right back, and it would kill it right in the middle.
But who's to say whether pure light is good or evil? Maybe we can't trust the light.
Now that you say it, I know that sunlight causes cancer too, if you go to the beach and you don't wear sunproof blocking. So that's definitely a grave concern. Maybe we'll have to invent a technology. Hey, maybe even dirt is the opposite of evil. We don't even know it yet.
You know, you hear the phrase, angels with dirty faces. Maybe that's exactly what's going on, except it's dirt with a more clean face.
That's true. And even further, it might be people that you know, your best friends, you don't even know it because they do so much for you. And you think, hey, these people would never do me wrong. But that's probably what the devil wants you to think.
Maybe you could try to enlist the help of some of those friends to help you figure it out, and they would make you believe that the devil doesn't exist. But if they are the devil, they'd just be leading you astray and making you think that everything's secure and there's no devil, but then really there is one, and it's the exact person you've been talking about it with.
You would have to fool them, like Pinocchio, for instance, can't tell a lie. Well, the devil wants to be on your side, so you would have to figure out some kind of trick so that you would test the devil's loyalties.
What if you were to play Scrabble and you made a point of every word that you spelled out being something that related to the devil, like the word devil itself, or Beelzebub, or, you know, pitchfork, and he would probably start to get pretty suspicious that there was a theme to all the words you were spelling out.
He would probably think that you were onto him and come out with it right away and ask you, hey, let's just stop beating around the bush. You sign this contract. I want your soul, kind of thing. You could just be like, hey, that ain't mine to give to you. That's mine.
They say that if you have a problem with somebody you care about, you just have to mention it and get it out in the open.
In movies and literature, they depict the end of days as some kind of really messy situation where everybody's got to die, and cities, which people spend a lot of time building, have to crumble. And that doesn't make any sense to me. I think that using the Scrabble method, or probably you could adapt it to Jenga.
But Jenga really is a game of buildings tumbling, and when they talk about, you know, cities crumbling in that ultimate battle, maybe that's just sort of the metaphysical, otherworldly game of Jenga just going on for us all to see.
And if you did play Jenga, the devil would get excited about it, you know, falling over, and he'd purposely lose to see it falling over. And that's how you could tell, because you would pull the first one out and he'd just knock it right over. You'd be like, that's not how it's, you're the devil.
I think it might go the other way, and that he would want to win just so that he can yell Jenga in his big scary voice. When you see the devil portrayed in movies and TV shows, sometimes it sounds like it's 5 different people yelling at the same time, and I think he would relish the opportunity to use that voice and yell right in your face.
I bet it took him a while to develop, you know, 5, maybe he had to eat 5 different people so that he had control of 5 different vocal cords.
I find it hard to believe the devil would just stop at 5. I think if I was the devil, I would eat so many people and get so many voices, so then I can do so much shape-shifting that no one could ever stop me.
There's been a long history of people, and that means there's a lot of people going to hell. He probably eats every last one of them, and their fate is to just wait for the devil to be ready to scream, and they're like, we gotta scream again, we're in hell, I shouldn't have stolen or raped, whatever I did when I was alive, I gotta scream.
What if hell is just the opposite? What if it's so eerily silent? That is my own personal hell. Maybe that's what it's like. It's so awkward and no one has anything to say for all eternity.
Like, everyone has a personal hell. Like if you wanted to go to maybe a strip joint, and there was like little rooms where you go off to have your private little shows, except they're not, beautiful ladies, doing your bidding for dollars. They're demons biting your face.
Biting of faces isn't that personal. I think that'd be hell for everyone. I think that would be in the main room, and then you'd have to go to the little rooms to get your more specified version of what hell is.
Would you be able to choose, though, if you can have your personal or the more universal?
I think it'd be a little bit of both. I think that you spend most of the day in your private hell, and then you think, oh, now I get to go to sleep and rest up for my next day of hell. But there isn't any sleep in hell. You just go to the big room, and then you're packed in with everybody, because that's much worse than sleeping, being in a big room with everyone getting their faces bitten off by demons.
For me, for instance, they would bite my face off, but when I went to the other room, there would be all kinds of people there, and I would ask them questions, candid questions. They would have no answers for me. Forever.
That'd be terrible.
And then maybe there would be too much to drink, and I would, maybe have some to numb the pain, of rejection. And then, people mock you, and then
All right. Well, thanks a lot for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the special two-man debate. And to let us know if you enjoyed it, give us an email at lmuroundtablenow@gmail.com. So if you want to know what's going on in the campus, then pull up a seat at the table. Bye, everybody.